this will be a huge recall for when I come back in the future to be able to find some of the answers that were true, were not true, some of the things that I will do and bring back to you. This is awareness documentation. Brah. You know what? I just realized, and I figured I would have appreciated more of if I actually did it. If I would have recorded me actually producing the movie that I was making during the time that I was doing it, and not feeling like because I was dressed terribly and because I wasn't really showering or cleaning up that it was something that wasn't going to be good to look back on. I mean, simply developing the whole sequence from being absolutely terribly short, from being like 5 minutes to 15 minutes to 45 minutes to an hour and a half to 2 hours to 2.5 hours to 3 hours. That movie really developed, and I just added more and more on, and it became so much more inspiring. Now that I think about it, documenting that process would have been worth the journey. So, this whole process of me being houseless, not having a place to stay, documenting all of it, and becoming an artist who works in studios and stuff is definitely something to appreciate. So I just wanted to share a little touch on that. Today happens to be Sunday, August 4th. If you look here, we get the same picture with Michael Jackson and everything. So it's definitely something that I appreciate, is loving the process. And I feel so many people struggle with just simply loving the process and appreciating every single moment, whether it's good or bad. Just being able to see it from a perspective as it's all good. Everything that is and actually happens is good, and it happens for you, not against you. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens because of you. And, while you can't force your way into everything, things tend to gravitate their way towards you in a way that it will benefit you and give you the experience necessary to be able to move on to that next step, that next challenge, that next obstacle in your life. Like, I don't see problems as problems. I see them as obstacles that will give me the experience necessary so that I can be able to move forward and break through the barriers that I need to know how to grow through in order to be able to progress and show the world what I'm made of. And I think that's a huge part that people don't understand, is they may not have the patience, they may not have the gratitude, they may not have the ability to empathize with other people, and especially themselves, so that they can resolve the inner conflicts, the challenges that they might be experiencing on a much deeper level than they're witnessing by living a very surface level mentality, lifestyle in this 3D world. And I think a lot of it has to do with the emotion that you give your experience. And as you continue to dig into your emotions, everything starts to open up. And because emotion is very closely, intimately connected with the spiritual realm, I mean, that's what enlightens you, is when you start to listen to your body more than your mind, and you don't allow your mind to suppress the emotions that you're experiencing. Instead, you validate them, you accept them for all that they actually are, and you love and appreciate the process of being able to enhance your ability to feel them. Because I was in a place where I didn't feel them, and I was in a place that I wasn't being me, and I was in a place that I was rehearsing something that I didn't want to happen, and it was dangerous, I'll admit. So when I got out of that situation, it was just this process of being self-fulfilling and seeking progress and accomplishing goals, and then breaking that barrier, and then, oh shoot, there's an even bigger problem that comes after that. Because when you solve problems in your life, it typically presents you with a new challenge, and when you accept that challenge and you continuously move forward, all you want are more challenges. You become hungry for this thing that you believe is success, that you're paving the way for. And then you realize that success, it's not a destination, it's a journey. And that's where you start to understand and love the process, more than the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You love the rainbow of overarching development that you have yet to experience, and it's all just beautiful, glorious, magnificent. Loving the process is just something that you have to progress through. Progress, that is the reward, the rainbow in store. So yes, I have long nails that I have to clean every morning because I don't have nail clippers at this moment. And, I'm asking people. I have a phone bill that I just paid off, which has a late payment plan arrangement that I had to make. It's due tomorrow. And then I have the first time I'm going to miss this credit card bill. I've already missed the other ones like a couple times now. And then I paid them late with an extra late fee of like $30 each. Things are stacking up, man. And somehow I just managed to catch up. People happen to give me like $200 to get on my feet. My birthday comes around, holidays. For some reason, God is just paving the way for me. And I gotta make ends meet. So what you may not know is that within the past couple days, few days, on the 31st, now it's the 3rd, which is 4 days ago. Oh, it's the 4th, 5 days ago. 4 days ago, I went to DPSS, which is the Department of Public Services, in which case, I signed up for EBT, also known as food stamps, right? So I got my own card for that. And, when they gave it to me, the process didn't take too long. It was pretty simple. I got it, and I got my card so that I can be able to pay for my own food. Because I was running out. I was having challenges with that. And, it's just really good to have a way to go about your day knowing that you're going to be fed. Because I had less than a week's food. I went to this church who gave me that week's supply of food, and it's really helpful. Other people go there for a whole month's supply of food, and they're not even houseless like me. So to think of it like, homeless is a mentality. Homeless is a way of thinking, a way of being, a way of living. It's a truth that you own. I'm not homeless, I'm houseless. It's a circumstance. It's a situation. It's a trial. And, these trials help shape me to be able to, train me. And it's really an experience to appreciate and grow through. And being able to sign up for this, it's not something that I wanted to admit to. It's not something that I wanted to say, I give up. When it's too late, I give up and I need help now. And then what if my body was no longer in the situation where I could be able to heal myself at that point and I was actually done. Like done. No, there's a time and place for everything. And I think the admission of needing help at the right time is important. What I didn't want to do was submit my information to the government and to the system, because let's just say, people will look down upon it and you needed help. And, let's just say you wanted to become the president, right? If they look and they see that you were on food stamps or cash aid, which is general relief, and you obtain an EBT card and receive money from the government, would they support you as would everyone else who's taking money out the system? Whether it's just or unjust, in this case it's just for me. I just didn't want to put myself in a situation where I would have to admit that and have other people, control the permission over what it was that I was doing. Therefore, I would have to compromise my life in order to be able to receive something that would actually benefit me. Like, I don't want to have to come to an agreement where somebody tells me where I can eat, shit, sleep, and walk and, do anything in a way that, it changes who I am as a person. So, like right now, if I don't actually get a job within this week, then I have to go to, 20 hours a week of working on having these meetings, which is called the GROW program, You know, it's like basically a working opportunity that advances you, and they give you an assignment to be able to find work. And if you don't fulfill that assignment, you get a second assignment as a consequence. It's a lot of shit that you have to go through, but if I have to give them 20 hours a week, that's a lot, man. I could be working a job during that time, you know? So it might just be better to get a job and fulfill some requirements than none. Or it could be better to do that and, you know, see how that works out. It really depends on if you want to stay in this situation or not, if you can actually hold a job or not. I mean, all the doors closed for me, you know? I spent 20 days in a row job searching, and, you know, I didn't receive any of those ends coming to a yes. You know, they all closed. And I'm not just trying to go for city hall jobs and apply for just anything, but even the ones that, you know, were lower than me that I applied for didn't even call me back. You know, we didn't even have an interview. You know, like, it's kind of ridiculous how experienced I am, but the world is not willing to take me in because I actually have a message, I have a background, I have an authority in what it is that I'm doing, and I'm not getting paid for it right now. You know, I'm having to ask for donations. I'm having to ask people to be able to help me, you know, who are benefiting from what it is that I'm doing, but they don't even have the money to pay for me, and I need the right people to be able to do that. It's not like I've prospected for my coaching appropriately and reached out to CEOs or somebody who needs help with their mental health or emotional freedom, or discovering their own user manual, the one that I can show them how to get. You know, it's not like I'm delivering this blueprint for people who need that success in their life to be able to truly and freely express themselves and be understood so that they know who they are, why they're here, and what they're here to do. I haven't done that. That's my problem. I need to prospect. I need to work on my music, and that should be my main focus. All while, you know, being houseless and trying to get a house and trying to lift myself up. Like, all I really need are consistent clients. Like, it's just not happening for me right now. And it's because I'm not happening for myself. You understand? So I have to put myself into a place right now where I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to prospect. I'm willing to prospectively grow and actualize my potential. Because if I'm not doing that work, then I would be missing out on all the opportunities and everything that I can be able to do to grow, because this is what is necessary to be able to know what I need to do to show up and share my gifts with the world. So I think that's a huge part of what I should be doing. And, you know, if I need to fill that 20 hours with something that, you know, wouldn't quite be of me, wouldn't quite be something that would benefit my skills, you know, maybe it's necessary. But from what I do know, God's closed these doors for a reason. God said, hey, you know, you're not meant to be going down a path of getting a job. I've got something better for you. You're going to create these 6 songs, and you're going to write your music, and you are going to use it to help shape the world that we'll create together. So I think once these 6 songs are through, I produce it, you know, I release it, there will be some benefits from it, and then my coaching business can go to its summit. But, you know, that's not the main thing here. I want to make music, you know? I want to dance, I want to perform, I want to heal. I want to be able to be the great performer of the 21st century that I actually am. And if I am identification, awareness, modification, which I learned recently, if I am identification, awareness, and modification in this progressive cycle of more maturation through pain and more pain through maturation, if I am going through the pain and healing, overcoming these obstacles, these trials to be able to train myself, then in this development, I have to be able to train someone else. Somebody else has something to benefit from me, and I've got to get the right people. So look, man, you know, you have something. You should not be getting a job. You should not be getting a job. You should be getting clients. That's it. I mean, this is real. So that's what I need to do.
I guess I can try to apply for this place that I've already done and see how it goes. And, for a position that isn't what I wanted, which is at the Portofino Hotel. I was supposed to be a leader in the activity center, but, our conversation ended with me saying, yeah, I think the position I'm best suited for would be this, the leader, the tour guide in the activity center. And, if I were to do anything else, it wouldn't be the best for me or you. So, I think it would be bad to share that with other people. I think we kind of both agreed at the end of the conversation that was what we were going to do. But, of course, the next time I hear from him, because we didn't set an appointment, because we didn't have an agreement, because we didn't come to a set conclusion as for what the expectations were completely, then, it gets turned around. Well, we may not be needing people. We're transferring people over, and, you can try something else. So maybe that try something else is what I'm going to need to not have to do these extra 20 hours, or at least to submit it and see what happens, I don't want to be a busser. I don't want to be a housekeeper. I don't want to be all these things that aren't me. It sucks, man. It sucks. It sucks when you know who you are to do things that aren't you. It really does. So, yeah, that's why I've strived for my truth, to figure out who I am, why I'm here, and what I'm here to do. Now that I know it, I just want to share my gifts with the world. So, I will apply. Okay, it'll take the 30 minutes that it takes to apply to probably have nothing fly for me. And, maybe we'll follow up with the other jobs to see if we can make any progress, because we did do it within the last month, so we might as well not waste everything that we put in. Wasted effort, you gotta follow up. You gotta follow up at least 2 more times. Most people don't even follow up. Most people follow up once, and then, that 50% that goes into following up once, they don't convert, and then the next round is like 48% for the second time of follow up. And it tends to convert more after the third time. So, yeah, I don't want to be a statistic of failure, and I don't want a job. But you got to do what you got to do in a position you're in. And, I'm not in a terrible position. But look, I do have bills I need to pay. I do have things I need to upkeep, and I don't want to spend 20 hours a week, working for something that I know isn't going to help me progress. Because I know how to sell myself, I know how to get my foot in the door, but I'm not speaking to the right people, and the people who I am speaking to, they don't understand me, or they have some sort of bias about me, so therefore they don't like me, and therefore they don't want to hire me, because maybe I'll frickin' take their position, Like, it's an ego problem with most of these people, man, and, I'm humbling myself and saying, hey, I'm not amazing, I'm not great, but I do definitely deserve a position where I can be able to benefit everybody the most. And even if I'm lowering myself to pick bigger things up, well, shit, I still have the skills. I still have the talent and the character to back it up, the personality that people will value in any position. And, that's why I'm going to do this application. I'm going to lower myself and say, hey, look, I'm still willing. I'm still willing to work here, and maybe they'll move me. We'll see. But for the most part, what I am thinking is I just got to continue making my music. I just got to continue, trying or doing. Not trying, because when you say I'll try or I'll do my best, it sets you up for failure. I'm going to do some prospecting, just a little bit, okay? And the people with my group, at least for today, the 50 people that are in my group right now, I'm going to say, hey, you were interested in learning about yourself, I'm not sure if you have been benefiting from my group. What I do want to do is better get to know you and share how you can get your own user manual so you can live the best life possible for you. Would you be interested in having a chat? And, maybe that can convert into some clients once I share what it is that they're struggling with, their vulnerabilities, their weaknesses, how to overcome those, add some value, and then maybe we can convert from there. But, they got to agree to my social contract, the 4 agreements, and that's all a work in progress. As for making this album, I've created 3 songs to the album, The Social Contract, and it's really exciting, extremely exciting, that I've completed 3 songs to an album out of 6. It's really exciting, really exciting. They're really good. I think the 3rd one could use a tiny little edit for a few of the words to make it flow better, but the other 2 are good. The message is good, and then the last 3 are going to be a little bit different as for what it is that they're talking about, the structure, how it's all going to lead into a summary, I guess, which would make the 5th song, and then the 6th song would be, navigating your awareness, 30 steps to live a purpose-driven life. That could actually be a single, or it could be, no, it's not a part of the social contract. So, whatever it is that is in between the summary and, the family, the black zone, the gray zone, the white zone, the black knights, the gray guards, the guardians of the white, whatever's in between that and the summary, or adding a new story, something that expands your awareness, whatever that is, I've just got to make it intensely powerful, because it's the last track on the song, or it's the 5th to the album, and it's all going to be good, because I don't have enough writing in the 14 pages or whatever that I had for the social contract, or 11 pages, to be 6 tracks right now. I don't think. So we'll have to work our way through it. Basically what we're doing is we're listening to the track, understanding the cadence, the rhythm, the flow, and then writing our lyrics over top of that by reprogramming what the social contract was originally in written and spoken form, because I made a video with it initially, and we're turning it into music to develop this album. And changing the wording to have the lyrics rhyme and flow, and have it be as smooth as possible with each song that I have to be able to show for it. So I think it's really interesting. I'm growing throughout this whole process, and then after I finish the song, or while I'm doing it, actually during the whole time I'm doing it, I'm rapping it out loud so that I can be able to hear myself, listen to the flow, and then validate if it's perfect for what we're trying to go for. And if it's not, then I literally change it once, and I start it from the beginning of the song, or at least until a point where I know, like 30 seconds in, a minute and a half in, where it stops a certain portion of the song. I don't even know the vocabulary words for it. It stops the verse, whatever. Whole verse is complete, and it makes the next transition. I save the timestamp, and I go back to that timestamp where it has the end of the kick or the snares. Most likely the end of the not the beat, not the rhythm, not the cadence, the end of the bar. At the end of the bar, I restart, and I hit play, and then I start from that specific verse to save myself some time, because once I go through a whole verse, it's like you shouldn't be working on that part anymore, because it's as close to perfect as you can get. When you finish the whole song up, if it doesn't flow right, then you can edit it a little bit. But it's a really interesting writing process that takes a lot of time, actually, if you were to think about it. But at least for a beginner, this is how I'm going to make my first album. The interesting thing is that this album doesn't necessarily work like most albums, because like most rappers, they value flow, lyrics, rhythm, cadence, these types of things. For me, like, it's just flow right now, and the lyrics are like powerful, but they're more based on the social contract and not something specifically that's going to end with each bar, each beat that's in synchronicity with it. But what it does accomplish is being able to flow consistently, and it may not rhyme at the end. Okay, it may not rhyme at the end of each bar, But there are rhymes throughout, like internal rhymes is what it's called, and I don't think there's any identical rhymes, not often at least, unless if it's something like you or to. And it's really interesting because the way that I structure it is so different from other people, and it's not necessarily telling a story or bringing people through a vision or a certain life, but it's more like instructions. It's more like instructions and trying to recruit family and show them what this is all about. And the whole album is geared toward bringing people into my family, into my circle, understanding my vision from the get, and having them agree to this social contract or the 4 agreements so that we can create one human family together that's going to be, staying true to the vision of unity while exercising their own unique individual identities. So I unite souls before I show them their roles by giving them their user manual. And I think it's really interesting how this can go if it works out. I think we can change the world. I really do. And I don't see this album failing. I just got to get the right people in line who are going to say, hey, this is awesome, let's share this, and somehow it gets up to like Oprah, and somebody big enough to be like, okay, we like this guy, he's got to hit off, bam, 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 viral. I think it can happen. But the right people have to see it, which means I have to reach up in my level of influence. Somebody, whether it's the small grunt at the place or somebody that I know that shares it, it's got to move to the right people. Otherwise, it's all a failure. Marketing is a huge part of getting awareness for an album or something, so I need to be doing that more. Saying I'm releasing this song, this album, and when it goes out, can you share it for me, please? And I'll create a whole list of people. It's like I don't have much time because I'll probably finish this thing within the next week, the next several days. And once I finish written it, I'll go into a studio and produce it. And then that's pretty much it, If I have the money by like the 10th, which is when, cash aid comes in, then, if I pay for it with that, or if I pay for it with the money I make from a client, then I can get the songs that I need, at least for a lease, not necessarily exclusive. I'm talking with the producer who's making the stuff that I'm working on. His name is Grim De La Rosa. We're talking via email. I want to set up a meeting with him and see if we can be able to work together long term, because I like to have long term relationships. See if there's something that we can produce there. Because we could do some really great things together, I believe. So the old school beats that I'm using, they're old school. Hint, hint. May not be what other people look forward to, but this is how I'm starting out, because the social contract is an old school idea. And it all progresses into something much greater, into the new school type of life and vitality that we're trying to experience, but it's not quite working. So we got to make those two connect. There's a lot of ideas that I think I would be good to review, but like said, the main thing we're focusing on right now is getting work, getting paid, and if we can get paid through the coaching clients, then great. You may not mind the extra 20 hours a week, but you do have to do your assignments, whatever that may be. I think it's good to apply just to have some sort of validation that you have done something, because I already went to plenty of places and I have plenty of interviews. Now it's just a matter of following up with those places, because I don't want to go job searching again. I don't. Like, there's so many jobs, believe it or not, but are they for me is the question. Some of it's my fault. I didn't accept everything that was offered to me. Like, for one, I didn't want to be an expediter. That was a good thing that I turned down. The guy took less than a minute to talk to me, and he didn't hear anything about me, what I had to say. He didn't care. He just, conversation over. Yeah, it's too bad. It's really too bad. So this is it. You know, I love the process. I don't feel poor at all. I don't feel broke. People can put it however they want for a 3D world, but I'm living somewhere else, man. I'm living in reality. I'm also dreaming. Let's make it a bit more practical. People focus way too much on the tactical and you know, way too much on tactical and strategic measures. But I think we need to focus more on practical and creative, you know. Because when we do that, we're not trying to get these short-term results. It's all about loving the process. And that creativity comes from being practical. So I need to be a bit more practical, I think. So let's do what we said we're going to do, all right? I love you. Thank you for your time and attention if you're watching this. You know, I'm pulling for you. Whatever it is you're doing, just do you, man. Live in your truth. Love the process. All right? We love you. The Motivat Familia sends its regards.